In a matter of minutes, I'm going to help you remove any limiting beliefs that you have inside your mind, because ultimately, limiting beliefs aren't true. And I want you to really understand this, because the moment you see these beliefs as false, you will stop being controlled by them. The most important part, though, is becoming aware of it. So let's understand. The first thing that you need to know is there's two states that you can be in. There is a primal state, and there is a creative state. And I like to call it the creative state. So essentially, and you can look at this as a contracted state and expanded state, but essentially the primal state is when you're stressed out, when you've got anxiety, okay, these kind of things, when you've got doubt, anxiety. And then the creative state is when you've got gratitude, when you've got love, when you've got these kind of emotions here. The way to know if you've got limiting beliefs or what limiting beliefs are in your life and what things are holding you back is notice here. So I want you to notice when you're in the primal state. So notice when you're in the state. Notice the things that you're thinking about. So notice your thinking. Okay? Notice what beliefs in that moment are coming up. Because the only reason that you're thinking about something is because the beliefs are causing you to think about it. Because ultimately the things that you believe lead to how you think, okay, and lead to how you feel. But a lot of the time we're stuck in this emotion and we don't even know why. So if you can notice this emotion, you can then notice the thinking, because a lot of the time this emotion is going to be unconscious. You can notice the things that you're thinking about. You can then notice what beliefs back up those thoughts, and then you can start to identify those limiting beliefs. And this is when you can start to understand how to remove them. So we then look at your limiting beliefs. So we look at this limiting belief here. That limiting belief. And once we've got the limiting belief, I then want you to think about the opposite. And then I want you to find evidence to back the opposite belief up. So we look at the limiting belief because we find it out by noticing our state, noticing what we're thinking about, and noticing what beliefs back up the thoughts that we're having. Once you've noticed that limiting belief, I want you to challenge the limiting belief. Okay, so is it true? It's not. 100% of the time, the beliefs that you're thinking about when you're in these states here, when you're in this primal state, is false. 100% of the time. You're thinking about something false. I can't do it. It's not going to work. That's false. Because ultimately, you know it's possible that it can work. So if you know it's possible that it can work, then that's the truth. Really, isn't it? That is the truth. So you need to start noticing when you're in this state, noticing what you're thinking about, understanding what beliefs are allowing you to think these things, and then understand that every single belief that's been reinforced in these negative states is 100% false, because you know the truth. The truth is that you can do it. So once you've identified this limited belief, you need to think about what the opposite of that is. So essentially, in a very simple way, I cannot, right? Okay, so I can't make 100k per month. So I can't make 100k per month. Well, the opposite would be I can make 100k per month. Perfect. Well, then to reinforce it even more, let's look at evidence as to why you can. Well, the easiest example that I always use with clients is that you actually think in real life, you've got the iPhone. Is the iPhone more or less likely to be designed from nothing than you making 100 grand a month? Well, the answer is it's a lot less likely to be an iPhone. Think about how complex an iPhone is. From being nothing, like this iPhone did not exist. They used to connect phones by wire. Now they've got this supercomputer that you hold in your hand. That's a lot more crazy, right, than you making 100 grand a month. A lot more crazy. A lot more harder to believe. From an iPhone not existing to an iPhone existing, that gap, it's a lot harder, to put together than you going from where you're at right now, 5, 6, 7k a month to 100 grand a month. It's a lot harder to believe the iPhone. But guess what? You hold an iPhone every day. You use it every day. So there's evidence to back up that this new belief is 100% something that you can put faith in and believe in. And that's your first step to moving forward, is putting faith in that belief, that new belief, by using that bit of evidence. But not only do you use evidence of something that makes that even silly to doubt, you also start to build your own evidence. Okay, you need to start stacking the evidence. How do you stack the evidence? With aligned actions that support that belief that you've just installed. That aligned actions of this new belief is going to allow you to build momentum, move forward, and then start to prove that that new belief is actually something you can believe in. And ultimately what will happen is with this aligned action, this consistent action that you do, so as you consistently act, you're going to start to build self-trust. So you're going to start to trust yourself to be someone that does show up. That self-trust will then eventually allow you to build this conviction, because your consistent actions, okay, that creates who you are. If you can start to trust who you are because you're consistently showing up, I'm the person that can consistently show up, you can then start to build conviction that reinforces this new belief even more. And guess what happens to this old belief? Imagine you go to the gym and you don't use you've been to the gym for years, but then you just stop going to the gym and you don't go to the gym, you don't eat protein, your muscles are going to start to die and atrophy and kind of fade away and become weak. Well, that's what happens to that limiting belief. That limiting belief starts to become weaker and weaker and weaker. It holds no strength because you became aware of it by doing this. You've then challenged it, reinforced the positive belief through all the things that I've just spoke about, the evidence, etc. And next thing you know, you've just got these empowered beliefs that take you forward. And like we spoke about, the beliefs lead to how you think, the emotions are coming from how you think, and then those emotions drive your actions, and the actions drive your outcomes. So that's exactly how you can remove limited beliefs, install empowering ones in a matter of a few minutes. So I appreciate your time and attention, and hopefully that's completely removed anything that you've used in your life to hold you back. Maybe you've not known it, but after this video you have known about how things have been holding you back, and you've removed them. I'll see you in the next video.